Hello again, this is Joy. I'm going to try to briefly tell a little story about how I got to be a student in the Academy for Psychic Studies school, which is also the Spiritual Rights Foundation. A lot of this is actually on my blog, so I'm just going to try to summarize it, and if you want to read more details about it, you can always go to my blog. Basically, when I turned, I think, 15 years old, my sister took me to a psychic reading jamboree at the Academy for Psychic Studies in Santa Clara. That's the Spiritual Rights Foundation's branch. And I got a brief 15-minute reading, past life reading for my birthday. And then after that, we left. The ministers, of course, were trying to tell us how much we should get in classes, but, we weren't interested. I just wanted a reading. And so anyways, I left, and that was the end, of my experience there. It would have been. But apparently one of my older brothers, who's a couple years older than me, he began taking classes from them, which I didn't know. So a lot of different things happened between that time and about a half a year later when, because of the classes he was taking, his personality began to change. He went through some major personality crises, I think. And he had a guru also, aside from being at the Academy for Psychic Studies and taking classes there. He had a Hindu guru. And he got interested in hypnotherapy because the Academy was just starting their hypnotherapy programs, and they talked a lot about it in the classes, but he couldn't afford to take every single class, so he decided to get a book from the library about self-hypnosis, how to induce yourself or another person into a hypnotic state, which is actually very easy to do. And so he asked me if I would participate. This was my first experience with it. So I had no clue about it. My brother didn't have any clue about it. So it was the middle of the winter. We did it in the basement because we didn't want our parents to know, because they didn't believe in psychic stuff, for one thing, and they didn't believe in hypnosis. They thought that was like the devil's work. They were religious, so that was their belief. So we did it in the basement. For me, I was laying down. There's a blanket on the cement slab, which didn't do much good, and he put me in a trance state. Led me down the stairs, and it was so easy. I was there. I was seeing everything he was telling me to see. I was experiencing everything in that hypnotic state, and I became extremely cold. It happened over a little while, I think, while I was in a trance state, but I began to shake uncontrollably. After I don't know how long of this, it became so much that my teeth were, I was having problems speaking. I don't know if I brought myself down a trance or if my brother did, because I was acting funny and I was having a hard time speaking because my muscles were shutting down or something. Because of the cold. Now, we didn't know what was going on. We didn't think this was because of the cold. We didn't know what was going on. We had never done trance. And my brother had been warned at the Academy for Psychic Studies that you shouldn't practice any of the stuff they teach there outside of the place because bad things will happen. So he was under the impression that he did something terribly wrong. I couldn't stop shaking. We went upstairs. I was cold. I was extremely frightened. I thought I was going to die because I lost control over my body, in a sense, certain body functions. I was having a hard time walking. I was uncoordinated, off balance. I was slurring my words. And I was just shaking everywhere. Eventually, after 3 hours, I finally warmed myself up. Went to bed. Tried whatever I could to warm myself up, and eventually I did. But we were both really, really scared. And the next morning, my brother called the academy. And he was freaking out. He thought he had done something horribly wrong. And he was asking them, what should we do? What happened? So one of the ministers, and they told him what had happened was that he had opened me up psychically in an ungranted, unsecure environment, because it wasn't at the academy. And my guru had come in my 7th chakra and was trying to take over my body. Basically, his guru was possessing my body, okay? And that's what happened. They encouraged the idea that my life was at stake. Now, of course, that for hearing something like that, for 2 teenagers who don't know what the heck they're doing, and they're calling people they think know what they're talking about, especially since they are supposed to be hypnotherapists and ministers and psychics, to be told all this, you believe it. You don't know what to do. Anyways, they instructed us, you got to get her in, which was me, into healing clinic, into reading, get all that energy cleaned out. Oh, she's so susceptible to energies, you got to get her in classes. So they took this frightening situation, they intensified the feelings of fear, of desperation, of freaking out. They intensified those feelings. And then they sold their program onto me. That my life was in somehow jeopardy if I didn't get the teaching, if I didn't learn this stuff. Because I was so sensitive, I was so psychic. And so that was the beginning. The next day or the day after, for healing clinic, whenever that was, I went in, got a healing. My brother paid for a reading so I could get special healing work done, and then they reinforced, you need to come back, you need to come get healings anytime, you need to get into classes. Well, I don't have any money to take classes. Well, you need to get money to take classes, but in the meantime you can always come to the free healing clinics and get healings. But what I realized, doing some research on different things, and, well, I took a first aid class a while back, and it suddenly dawned on me, I just experienced a case of hypothermia. Almost every symptom of hypothermia I had. I could just check off all the symptoms, and I had it. It wasn't a case of possession. It's not something I needed a healing for. It was the middle of the winter. I was on a blanket that was on the cement. It was probably under 40 degrees down there. I was freezing I went into hypothermia. That's why my body started to shut down. I don't know. I just think these people don't know what they're really talking about. Thank you.